So day 6 of October, I watched Pieces for the first time, which, like I've said in my other videos the past couple days, I am watching a new horror movie I've not seen every day for the whole month of October. And today, the 6th, I watched Pieces, which is a 1983 slasher that I've always wanted to see. Honestly, it's one of those horror movies where the poster just really made me want to see this because it looked so cool. It was such a cool looking poster. And I loved how on the poster, and you'll see it on my thumbnail, where it says you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. Like, that's just so funny. And I thought that just how the poster looked was really cool, so I thought this probably would be a fun slasher. And going into this, yeah, I thought the opening kill was insane. That was really, really brutal. Like, that was really, really hard to watch. I liked the opening a lot. The opening was really amazing. It really was effective. But then the movie does a cut to like 40 years later, which I'm totally fine with because it's still kind of interesting after that. But I love the fact, and this is going to be spoiler free for the most part, I love the fact that they do an effective use of this killer, and they have an effective use of using things like how the killer has a puzzle and makes it during the whole movie after the guy kills somebody. And I'm not going to go too far into that detail because it does ruin it, but like, I love the use of puzzles in this movie. Like, that's so cool. That's a really cool idea. A really unique idea for a slasher. I think that's really fun, and it's before any Saw movie. So of course it's one of the first ones to do this. So that's really cool. And I loved how the killer in this movie, like, you get the reveal at the end, of course, but the killer before the reveal is really cool because this is a killer shrouded in darkness. You never see his face, you never hear his voice. There's scenes where, like, it's just a silhouette of a person walking around. Like, I love that. I love how the effective use of how the killer is portrayed in this movie. Whenever he's just a silent killer, like, that's really, really good. And the violence in this, like the beginning, like the opening scene, I loved. The violence in this movie is really, really incredible. Really hard to watch in a great way. I love whenever horror can do that for me. I never get super squeamish in horror, but I thought that this did a good job of, like, making me almost feel really squeamish because this is really actually out there. It's not by far the goriest movie I've ever seen, but it's got some really effective, great gore. Really unique gore. I really love the effects in this movie with the gore effects. And I guess the issue I have with this one too, and it's funny because the Mutilator I just watched last night, I had the same issue where I didn't care for the characters. These characters are more better written, but these characters are still uninteresting to me, so it's kind of annoying that I watched two nights in a row, that, like, the characters aren't that interesting. But the kills are great in this movie. This is really based on the kills. This is really, really good. But the characters are just kind of boring, not very interesting. And I feel like a broken record saying that because, again, I just said that last night watching The Mutilator, so I don't know. I just didn't care for the characters. And it was kind of too long for me, even though it's an hour and a half. I felt like there were moments where I was like, okay, you can cut that. And the last, like, the fight at the end, which I won't give away, like, is really good. I thought that was a great way to end it. But I did not get the last 10 seconds of the movie. It's so weird. I feel stupid for not understanding it, but the last 10 minutes are really odd. So, if anybody has seen this movie, tell me down below what you think about it and what you think of the ending, because this ending was so out there that I was like, in the last 10 seconds, I was like, what? Okay, that's really odd. But overall, I really did enjoy Pieces. I thought that this had effective gore, effective kills. The killer, as portrayed before the reveal, is really good. Like, they just do a great use of filming this killer walking around, being in silhouette, being in the darkness. I think that it's really effective. The characters are okay, but the violence and the killer are great. This is really great on that fact. It's not like my favorite slasher ever, but it's a really solid one. So I really loved Pieces in a lot of ways, even though there were ways that I thought it was just okay. But I think that overall, I really genuinely enjoyed Pieces. So this was a really fun watch. For the most part, besides a couple boring bits that usually, like, because the characters aren't that interesting, it kind of bored me a tiny bit. But overall, this was a really solid slasher, and I'm glad I finally got to see it.